Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the concept of green roofs and living walls. I'm going to give you an in-depth analysis of this idea and then just also give you kind of the aspect of how this relates to the overall concept of sustainability. This is created by Connor McCourt, Campbell Sines, Thomas Noel, and Steve Leon. So let's look at the bigger picture of sustainability. Sustainability is often discussed in the context of sustainable development. It is about meeting the needs of our present without compromising the needs of future generations. It's challenging to think long-term, but failing to do so has led to many of the environmental problems we face today. Consider maintaining a healthy diet for long-term well-being as an analogy for sustainability. This involves consistently making good choices over an extended period. Conversely, consuming junk food and disregarding the quality of your diet may provide short-term pleasure, but result in long-term health issues. This analogy relates to sustainable development, as many corporations with government approval have prioritized short-term profits over long-term environmental concerns, contributing to the issues we see today. While you may not have the power to change corporate practices or regulations, you can, however, control your sustainable efforts. As consumers, we have a responsibility to consume responsibly. This means taking small, achievable steps in your own life, like reducing single-use plastics, supporting local eco-friendly businesses, and recycling. Buying locally grown food can also lower your carbon footprint by reducing the environmental impact of food transportation. Sustainable practices are subjective and do vary from person to person. However, it's crucial to communicate the importance of being responsible consumers, adopting low-impact practices, and supporting businesses that share these values. Failing to do so could unintentionally worsen existing environmental issues. So let's take a look at what kind of things that we personally can do to advocate for change or to drive change that we want to see in the world. So first, supporting government incentives like tax credits and subsidies is a way for citizens to actively contribute to making green technologies more accessible and affordable, which in turn fosters a cleaner environment. Advocating for change can also physically protect the planet by endorsing and complying with regulations that safeguard natural resources, such as clean water and wildlife habitats. This is crucial for responsible resource use and the preservation of biodiversity, which is vital for ecosystem sustainability. By supporting these causes, you can be part of the change the world needs. There are numerous advantages to long-term sustainable development. Sustainable development promotes economic stability by encouraging efficient resource utilization and fostering innovation, thereby reducing the risks associated with resource scarcity and environmental degradation. Sustainable practices also enhance public health and well-being over the long term by minimizing exposure to pollutants, supporting clean air and water, and promoting healthier living. While some may argue that our impact on the environment should still be lower, meaningful progress has been made and is still being made regarding our impact on the environment. By engaging with and advocating for sustainable policies, you can contribute to a more environmentally responsible and sustainable future for our planet. Your voice and actions can and do make a significant difference in shaping policies that protect the environment and ensure better quality life for all. So, bringing all of this information together and showing you some real-world data, we can see how sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides can directly impact air quality. This leads to adverse effects on human health in areas where emissions are prevalent. Meaningful efforts have been made to reduce these harmful emissions and improve the conditions for those living on our planet. As you can see in the graphs, our SO2 emissions are much lower than they were many years ago, as well as the nitrogen oxides. And our carbon footprint, there's arguments to be made. Green roofs and walls are an integral part of the broader sustainability discussions. They offer a practical and visually appealing solution with a range of crucial advantages. These installations address environmental concerns associated with urbanization by reducing the urban heat island effect, improving air quality, and promoting biodiversity. Their energy-efficient properties also contribute to sustainability by reducing the need for heating and cooling, as well as mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Moreover, the aesthetic and psychological benefits they provide align with the broader sustainability goal of creating urban spaces that are both livable and enjoyable. Green roofs and walls exemplify environmentally conscious urban development, embodying the principles we've discussed today. It becomes clear how green roofs and walls relate to the overall concept of sustainability by offering multiple environmental and ecological benefits that contribute to a more sustainable and harmonious urban environment. So, what are these green roofs and walls? So, green roofs are one of the main ways by which living systems can be incorporated into building design. Green roofs are incorporated of a waterproofing membrane, a growing medium, and various forms of vegetation. The vegetation on the roofs can vary from plants and grasses to small trees. Just like green roofs, green walls are made up of a medium that has been attached to a wall with plants attached to it as well. The plants on green walls can be low maintenance decorative plants or may even have edible plant species. Green roofs and green walls are essential components of integrating living systems into building design, promoting sustainable and environmental benefits. The two main types of green walls are intensive and extensive. They each have their own benefits and uses that should be considered prior to their installation. Intensive green roofs, for example, have a greater depth of the growing medium, which allows for a greater variety of plants to be used, like trees and other large plants. Intensive green roofs are usually designed with aesthetics or recreational purposes in mind, which means that they require more maintenance than extensive green roofs. Intensive green roofs are also heavier than extensive ones, which may cause the need for the installation of additional structural support to the building, especially the roof. Extensive roofs are usually designed with the intent to prioritize environmental benefits such as improving biodiversity, managing stormwater, and improving energy efficiency. Since the growing medium is less deep, only drought-resistant plants such as grasses and hardy herbs are usually used when installing extensive green roofs. Extensive green roofs, however, are much more cost-effective when compared to intensive green roofs, since they require much less maintenance and almost no modification to the building. As you can see below, there are two examples of what intensive versus extensive green roofs might look like. So, how do green roofs work, and what does the water retention aspect look like for these? So, green roofs are thoughtfully designed to excel in water retention and management, relying on two primary components: the growing medium and vegetation. The growing medium is a specialized lightweight medium, typically comprising of a blend of soil, organic matter, and lightweight aggregates. This engineered medium is adept at absorbing and efficiently retaining rainwater, serving as a preventative measure against excessive runoff, and its unique composition effectively retains water, akin to the behavior of a sponge. This capability significantly alleviates the pressure on stormwater drainage systems, emphasizing the eco-friendly nature of green roofs and water management. There are also other aspects that we can look at. Instead of making a spongy-like medium, we can also create mediums that are more filter-like, and that can lead to more discussions about rainwater collection that we will show you in just a moment. Rainwater capture is something very applicable to green roofs and could definitely allow for more access to clean water. Our video demonstration will showcase how vegetation serves as a remarkable filtration system, water retainer, and encompass the entire essence of green roofs and walls. So let's roll the video and see how this natural solution can transform our urban landscapes.
Thanks, Campbell. We have a basic demonstration to show the effectiveness of plant life as a filter. All bottles have soil, but one has rocks and another has plants as well. Based on the quality of the filter, different amounts of soil will pass through when water is added. After a brief time to allow the soil to settle, it is clear that the plants were the best filter, which is demonstrated by the amount of soil that accumulated in the bottom of each bottle.
So, how exactly do these green roofs work? One pivotal role that we can discuss when basically choosing our green roofs is the choice of vegetation. Vegetation is very important, and it significantly contributes to the water retention efficiency. Typically, succulent and drought-resistant plant species are favored for their exceptional performance in this regard, but these plants retain water by absorbing it and subsequently releasing it gradually through the processes of transpiration and evaporation. This natural evapotranspiration mechanism not only aids in water retention, but also has the added benefit of cooling the surrounding environment, reducing the demand for additional irrigation. So let's show a little example of how these could be impacting our impact on the environment. It's through insulation. So thermal insulation is very important to reducing emissions because there'd be less energy used in that regard. Both the growing medium and the vegetation themselves serve as effective insulators. This insulation not only enhances the overall comfort of the building, but also plays a pivotal role in temperature regulation. This reduces heat gain and subsequently lowers the cost associated with indoor cooling. It also helps minimize heat loss, thereby reducing the need for additional heating. So here's some additional information about how these green roofs and green walls work. Green roofs provide multi-phase benefits, including acoustic insulation, energy efficiency, and environmental benefits. First, I'm going to talk about the acoustic insulation, which is exactly how you might picture it. It's green roofs acting as an effective sound insulator to reduce external noise in an urban environment that may be very important to people. It just works together to dampen sound and results in a quieter indoor environment. The energy efficiency, again, comes into play when we think about the thermal insulating. The water retention and insulation properties make green roofs exceptionally energy efficient, and research has indicated that green roofs can significantly decrease energy consumption. And some environmental benefits are extending their positive impact beyond individual buildings, but also playing a crucial role in mitigating the urban heat island effect, helping to balance temperature extremes in densely populated urban areas. Additionally, they support local biodiversity by creating habitats for various plants and insect species. So let's look at this figure a little bit. It is LAI, and it stands for Leaf Area Index, which quantifies the amount of vegetation in a given area of a roof. And so the reduction of soil temperature contributed to the higher heat losses through conductive heat transfer. The heating load in Las Vegas and Miami increased by almost 21 and 6.5% respectively. And it should be noted that this trend for Vancouver and Toronto was reversed. This suggested that during the winter, the rate of evapotranspiration in these two cities was almost zero compared to that of Las Vegas and Miami because of the lower ambient temperatures and solar radiation. Therefore, greater plant coverage acts as a barrier for heat loss during the winter, and the heat loss was reduced by almost 8% in both cities. LAI plays a key role in decreasing and increasing the heat flux through the green roof. Additionally, in Figure 5, the heating and cooling loads of conventional roofs were compared with green roofs. The insulated conventional roof was insulated with 5 centimeters of polyurethane, and it was seen that the energy usage of buildings with uninsulated conventional roofs was considerably higher than green roofs. So that alone can show you how much impact these types of ideas and concepts, when in play, can actually help our impact on the environment. So the selection of plants also plays a very large role in terms of what exactly the plants are doing. So If we're talking about heat absorption and reflection, there are many different plant species that exhibit varying heat behaviors. Some absorb and retain heat, which helps maintain a warm roof surface, while others reflect sunlight and heat, keeping the surface temperature lower. These microclimatic variances have a direct impact on the surrounding environment. There's also something we have to worry about called transpiration and evaporation. Plants contribute to temperature moderation through transpiration, where they release water vapor. Subsequently, the evaporation of this water vapor from the leaves, known as evapotranspiration, cools the surrounding air and reduces the roof surface temperature. So, dark-colored or densely vegetated plants tend to absorb and retain more heat, which makes sense, as light-colored plants with reflective surfaces such as silvery gray foliage or waxy leaves tend to reflect sunlight. Some examples include white clover, lavender, sea thrift, and sempervivum for the light-colored plants with reflective surfaces. And if we want to look at some plants that might very well help us with evapotranspiration, we can look at various grasses like fescue or bluegrass, and even yarrow and aster plants. And our figure on the left will kind of show you which plants. You can basically guess which ones could help you with what. So there's also a key role that plants play, and it's called carbon sequestration. And basically that is plants capturing carbon dioxide, and they do so through photosynthesis, and during that process, carbon is converted into biomass. This process effectively stores carbon within plant tissues, resulting in a reduced carbon footprint for the building. The plants will also lead to enhanced air quality. In addition to carbon sequestration, the green roof's vegetation captures pollutants and particulate matter even. This dual action contributes to a notable enhancement in air quality within and around the building. So there is the aspect of maintenance and care that we have to think about in regards to green roofs and walls. Weeds can compete with desired vegetation and affect the visual appeal of green roofs and walls, but also regular weeding is necessary to keep unwanted plants in check. Some plants may require periodic pruning to encourage healthy growth. These things are very, very simple to people who may garden, but we also have to look at how trimming maintains a desired shape. Just for aesthetic purposes, that's not for everybody, but green roofs may require supplemental irrigation if the water retention is not good enough, or even if you're in a dry environment. And sometimes there are aspects where fertilizer may need to be applied. That quickly runs into a problem if we have to follow guidelines to prevent runoff, or even when we think about the aspect of collecting rainwater. As with any garden, green roofs and walls may have plants that just naturally reach the end of their life cycle, and replacing these dead and dying plants are essential to maintain the desired aesthetic and functionality of these green roofs and walls. So here we can see on the left a well-maintained green roof, very pretty, very aesthetically pleasing, and definitely contribute to all the fun things that we've talked about so far. And on the right is what may look like a poorly maintained green roof, and that just gives you kind of the idea of how they look when they're well maintained. So there's a lot of different types of green walls. Green walls, often referred to as living walls, are vertical architectural elements of adorned, thriving vegetation. These living installations are primarily employed for their aesthetic appeal, but also their air purification capabilities and sound insulation properties, as with green roofs. So the types of green walls include green facade, biofilter, modular, hydroponic, and interior green walls. So the green facade is exactly as you see here. It's a layer of what is usually a viney plant, often trellis-based, and it basically creates a green covering on your building that can also have, obviously, other benefits besides aesthetics. It involves shading, temperature regulation, and overall appeal. So another type of wall we can look at is biofilters. These biofilters are fit with plants that are very good at purifying pollutants. These pollutants can involve formaldehyde, benzene, and volatile organic compounds. Biofilter green walls contribute to improved indoor air quality, obviously, and have numerous other health benefits. And so we also have what are called modular or panel green walls. These can be installed indoor or outdoors. The plants are pre-grown in plant panels, which are then mounted onto a structure. They're versatile, easy to maintain, and suitable for various environments. The other one is hydroponic, which, as it sounds, is something to do with water. So these utilize a system with a pump to transport nutrient-rich water to travel through these plants. These are very space efficient and definitely efficient in water and nutrient usage. They are suitable for outdoor applications, but we do normally see these types of installations inside. And lastly, we just have interior green walls. They're just designed for indoor spaces. They enhance aesthetics and air quality and may not have as many other benefits. I see these as being more aesthetically pleasing. They use, again, hydroponics or soil-less growing mediums. And that's it for the types of green walls. What is the urban heat island effect? Well, let's dive into that a little bit. Urban areas often experience elevated temperatures compared to their neighboring rural regions, primarily due to human activities, concentrated infrastructure, and extensive pavement. This climatic phenomenon, known as the urban heat island effect, not only leads to increased energy consumption, but also contributes to various heat-related issues. Green roofs and walls do act as cooling agents for us, so they do play a vital role in combating the urban heat island effect. They achieve this by reducing surface temperatures through natural processes like transpiration and shading. In effect, they create cooler microclimates within urban environments. So let's take a look at some real-world examples, as there are very many. Here are just two. So the High Line in New York City, it boasts stunning green walls adorned with rich variety of thriving plant species. This visionary project has not only transformed the urban landscape, but has also made notable contributions to urban aesthetics. It's been a great haven for biodiversity for the system. It creates overall appeal and property value increase in the surrounding neighborhood. And it's a remarkable example of how innovative green design can just make urban infrastructure and urban environments just more pleasing in general. So another example is the Rubens at the Palace Hotel in London. This place is really awesome because they are home to 300,000 Buckfast honeybees. So they produce their own honey, and it allows them to bring in a multitude of ideas and sustainable practices. It also reduces the hotel's carbon footprint because of that localized production of honey. And in the picture from the slide previous, it is very pretty as well. There are definitely some challenges to consider when looking at green roofs and walls. This can include weight load, waterproofing and leak prevention, water management in general, and the type of plant selection and any problems that come with maintenance in the plants. So first, the structural integrity of the building has to be assessed in order to support the additional load. Obviously, modular systems and lightweight growing media can reduce the load. And this is definitely more of a problem with green roofs than it is with green walls. And with any roofs, there's always, you have to think about leak prevention. Regular inspections need to happen in order to make sure that there's no leaks and just to basically address potential issues before they become major problems. And with the water management, you really just have to make sure you incorporate proper drainage systems and manage excess water. This is important in general with sustainable practices because we don't want to be using more water than we have to. And the plant selection also will vary from climate to climate, obviously. You always have to consider factors like soil type, sunlight, wind exposure, when making all these plant choices, which can be very difficult and may need a certain degree of expertise to do so. And so that's really everything we have today for you on green roofs and walls. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think we can all agree about our final thoughts based on this video that green roofs and walls are a sustainable practice and can contribute positively to urban development. These practices can also provide solutions for mitigating climate change. And overall, they're just very pretty and aesthetically pleasing and can definitely impact the lives of people who have to spend their entire lives in urban environments, basically. And, the future is green, and this is a very good stepping stone into the ever-changing possibilities to maintain a sustainable urban future. Thank you again for listening to our video. Please like and subscribe, and if you would please complete this survey, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.